Packers fans out here to stay. Cheeseheads green and gold all day. Jordan Love lead us to the bay. Every game we find a way. Green Bay hustle, grind it up. Hit the field, we don't bluff. Touchdown dances, feel the love. Jordan's got that MVP stuff. It's time for all, let's go. Packers bringing that show. It's time for all, you know. Green and gold gonna glow. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown.
Aloha and welcome back to another episode of the Ohana Packers Edition podcast. Today, we're going to put more effort into closing out the Packers 2025 seasons than the Green Bay Packers themselves did. Honestly, not a surprising step for the Packers to make. You know, we had our reservations about it. But at the same time, it's understandable why they've chose to go the route they did, given they couldn't even not get injured in this freaking game, despite the fact that they sat so many guys. Looks like Javon Bullard escaped any sort of dramatic injury. You know, Hodkowitz was saying that he was sort of walking up and down the sideline and he had his helmet after he went into the blue tent. But Bo Melton was injured, and that's one of your important cover guys on punt and kickoff coverage. So, you know, even when the Packers tried to, and Joe and I went into this last week, as much as everyone wants to say, oh, treat it like preseason game 4, you can't because of the restrictions on the roster due to, you know, it's a regular season game. You don't have a 90 or 60 or whatever man roster. So, but you know, that's kind of the stuff we scratch our head at. Joe and I were talking off camera about how this is not going to be a usual segment or a usual set of segments because there's just not enough from this craptastic game to put into our full segment section. So we're going to keep this one as tight and concise as possible. We will not do an opponent preview for the playoff game. So we'll go a little bit into who they're playing and we'll get everyone on their merry way. But Joe, the 2025 regular season is over with a wet fart ending to it, and let's just get off from there unless you've got any further thoughts you want to get into before we go over the game.
No, while you were talking, I was trying to catch up on a lot of things because, like I told Mike before I hit the record button, after the Packers game, I just kind of didn't watch any other football at all. Matter of fact, I went in, took like a half-hour nap, and called it good. But I mean, it looks like most everybody else in the NFL treated this like a preseason game, also. So that just makes me sit here and think, why did we get rid of the 4th preseason game and add an extra game into the regular season if everybody's going to treat one game out of the regular season as a preseason game?
Money.
So yeah, but I mean, if fans are going to start realizing, hey, this game doesn't mean jack shit to us, are they still going to, pay the money to go to the game?
I think the TV deals are just such that it doesn't matter, and the league's justification is going to be, if it's not the 17th game, it's going to be the 16th game, blah blah blah, all that kind of crap. So I agree with you. I think the season's too long. I think that the extra game is stupid. It makes the schedule so much like I don't think people appreciate how perfect the 16 game season was, where it really just everything did just fall into place in terms of you play Division 6 times, so you have 10 more games. Then you play then you play your non-conference division, so that's 4 games, so that gets you to 10 total games. Then you play the rotating conference division, and that gets you to 14 games. And how do you get to 16? You play that same finish in your the divisions that you're not playing, between your division and whatever division. So this year was the NFC East, so you play the same finisher in this NFC West and the NFC South. Adding that whole stupid who finished the same place as you in the weird cross conference division thing, like that thing is a whole bunch of dumb. And then I And then the whole, I know it doesn't matter because it's all by percentage points, but there was something always nice to the season ending in an even number. Like I don't know why, but it does just, it kind of just makes more sense. I know some people were like, it's not a 10 or a 5, but it did just look so much nicer with 16 games as opposed to seven, a prime number and all that kind of stuff. Marisol's laughing at me going that nerdy on it, but I, I, I don't know why. I don't know why it just like irks me so much that like it's an odd number, it's a prime number, all that kind of crap. But I won't go down that rabbit hole too much farther than that. That's more TLC than it deserves, and it deserves to get.
I gotta say that I will watch the Packers in however many games there are. If it's 16 games, whatever. If it's 28 games, fine. If it's 163 games like a baseball season, I'll watch the Packers. But then if you're going to start adding more games to to a season, you're going to have to make changes to something to make games more valuable. So so you don't have 90% well, basically 100% of your teams not taking 1 week of the regular season, because like today with the Vikings, the only reason they played certain players on the Vikings team was because it was potentially their last time in a Vikings uniform. The only reason they played McCarthy at quarterback for the longest time was because they felt like he needed as many snaps as he could
Yeah,
get. So if that means you're going to have to change divisions, take away, let's say, instead of northeast southwest, you you break it down to three divisions where you have more divisional teams in each division, and then you can, okay, so instead of just having 8 games, let's say you break it down to how do I want to say this, you break it down to like each team has an extra, or each division has an extra team to it. So instead of 8 meaningful games a year for rivalries, you're going to have 10 games a year as rivalries. So right there, you just solved 10 out of your 18 weeks. So I don't know. I spitballing. Obviously we're not going to get much done because we don't have multi-billion dollars to feed into Roger Goodell's pocketbook to make changes. But I it really was gross to see a preseason style game in January.
literally the only game that was played for keep. I guess the first game of the week and the last game of the week were the only two where there was any sort of playing for keeps, and even then, like only the Steelers Ravens game actually the outcome of it mattered, in terms of who made it or who didn't. Because even that Bucks Panthers game, it mattered who it, like it was important for Tampa Bay to win, but they didn't even, like, it wasn't even like if they won they were in. They're not in. They won that game on Saturday, but they're still out of the playoffs because the Saints lost to the Falcons or some shit like that, and a couple other things. So like when there's just no stakes anymore, and I think the fact that there's only one bye in each conference, like that's why the Bears and the Eagles, everyone was kind of like joking on the Bears that they're like, oh, they're not trying because they don't want to play Green Bay a third time, kind of thing. And then the Eagles also were like, fuck it. Like, we're not playing anyone. Like, and it did just look weird because the Eagles were like, Hurts and Saquon are not playing, whereas the Bears were like, Caleb's playing, but we're not really calling it. Like, it was such a weird way to approach it. And yeah, I agree with you. It's an eyesore that, and I get that, yeah, the league quote unquote got it right that they put Steelers Ravens as the last, the coup de grace at the end of week 18, but it was such a slog to get there. And the fact that we're talking about every other team but the Packers just shows how bad the Packers game was. But, let's not bury the lead any further. Let's just get into this one. And like I said, well, get through this embarrassment of a game, piss poor effort, whatever you want to call it. Let's just get through it, and then we'll sort of
I
highlight the playoff matchup. Yeah,
can't even call it piss poor. Uh, what was the word you used? Piss poor.
embarrassment. Yeah, I don't even like. I'm just throwing those. I'm literally, my brain is working like a 3-word generator because I don't even, like you said. I get what you're saying is that I can't even necessarily call it an embarrassment by the Packers because LaFleur said like all week, yeah, we're not risking the really important guys. And I know people are gonna say like, oh, well then why did Jaden Reed play? Well,
he
yes,
had
he's really
to.
important. Yeah, one, he had to, and two, it's like it's justifiable in the sense that it's like he's missed like 2/3 of the season, so he's got to play. And like out of all the guys, he's the one that it's like, okay, like he does need more live reps than even Christian, who has played 2 months straight of football, kind of thing and stuff. So
Well, I was just reading an article that just I was wanting to make sure I didn't miss it. And when you were talking about injuries, I didn't miss any. I knew the Bullard and I knew the Melton. I was like, what other one is he talking about? But that ended up being it. And they even said it in there. The only reason Jaden Reed played was because Bo Melton went down.
yeah,
So yeah, but like I said, with it being a preseason game, you're looking at all preseason players out there: Jamon Johnson, Jalen Simpson, Jonathan Baldwin, Katan Oladapo, Tyron Hopper, Shamar Bartholomew. I mean, guys that were bubble players as is during the regular preseason, let alone in week 18. So I mean, they had some bright spots. I thought Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson did pretty solid for the makeshift offensive line that they had going. Brooks especially because he looked really explosive, and I didn't
I
think that was
know.
part of his game.
Yeah, especially earlier this season, where it's kind of like, is he injured? Kind of like there was sort of that look. You're like, oh, like he's laboring to get 1 yard on any play, kind of thing and stuff. And yeah, I agree with you. You know, Wilson's numbers are crooked because he had that funky negative 16-yard rush.
Okay, this is to Emmanuel Wilson. Emmanuel, you have done great so far this year, but when you get handed the ball, you don't run backwards.
Yeah,
Run forward.
even the two guys in NFL history who were like, it's okay if they do it, you didn't want them to do it, like
Even Barry didn't go that far.
no.
I mean,
But
Barry was one of the few that could legit cut one way, run all the way around, then turn around and run all the way back and get positive yards. But he didn't zigzag and cut back and forth a
no,
100 different times.
no.
So,
I
yeah,
guess my bright spot is going to be the two rookie pass rushers. It's just good to see, I know that Minnesota's not exactly putting out their top line offensive line players, but it's still good to see Sorrell have production. I thought
oh, he
Oliver had
looked
a
like a menace.
yeah, I thought Oliver had several good snaps in there. And then I don't think he'll be back next season unless like nobody else is interested. But it's nice to see Cox. Like I said, people are making a lot out of it. The thing I'll give him credit for is when he has opportunities, he's converting his opportunities into sacks or negative plays for the most part. The play he made, when you watch the highlight of it, it happens because Brosmer has no idea where he is on the field. He trips over his left tackle. He does the peppy hair, do a barrel roll in the middle of a play. But good on Cox to and you can see him size it up where he's like, I'm gonna wait for him to stand back up, and then I'm gonna pop him and knock the ball out. And good on Sorrell to be there to get the recovery. So, you know, like you said, it's hard to say how much of that is real, how much of that isn't, but it's still good to see guys make plays when the opportunities are there for them to make plays.
Well, I'm pretty sure Minnesota still had most of their start offensive line out there, didn't they? Because they were having to protect JJ.
I think they sat Darisaw. Of course, I don't know how healthy or not healthy Darisaw is at this point. I don't know if O'Neal played either. but I think the interior was all the starters.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's no way you would want to put a
Oh no, I lied.
patchwork.
O'Neal is playing. Yeah, you're right. So it was
Yeah,
everyone but Darisaw.
I was gonna say if you're gonna start your who you think's gonna be your franchise quarterback, there is no way in hell you're gonna uh not put out at least the majority of your starting offensive line. And it still didn't even help because he ended up re-injuring his friggin'
Now it was
hand
his
again.
throwing hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the hand that was injured going into it
Oh, that's
because
right.
he
You're right. Yeah.
he bounced it off of who were they playing? Bounced it off the helmet and had that microfracture, and then it looked like he did it again in this game. So, yeah, not too smart from O'Connell on that one.
And then my only other one was I sarcastically, but not really sarcastically, tweeted it. Whelan, Whelan was the MVP. Honestly, like I think
Well, he
he
had to
punted
make
it.
up for all that time that he didn't punt during the other games.
Oh God, yeah. uh, and I think he had what do you have 3 or 4 that were down inside the 20 kind of thing and stuff. No, he had 5 of his 8 punts were inside the 20.
And he had a
Longest
68.
68,
Yeah.
averaged 53.9 gross. Yep. Nice day at the office, Dan. And
I I forgot to touch on a couple of the guys that you were talking about. Sorrell and looked like I said, he looked like a menace out there. I'm glad he did get credited with 1 sack. I guess I must have blocked that one out of my mind or something. Now, what you said about Brenton, though, out of either Enigbare or Brenton Cox, I
oh
think
yeah.
Brenton is brought back because I think they can get him a little bit cheaper.
Yeah,
Eh,
I bring that more up in the like they're so he's gonna be a restricted free agent. They're not gonna tender him because they're like
They might do an original.
maybe, but that is I think it's like 3 million or something, and I could see them being like, you know what? If he gets something, oh well, because they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna match a deal. Like that's the whole thing, right? Is like they're not gonna match a deal, but you're right. They might just do it, but I think that they would rather just let him go, and then like if he's not signed anywhere else, he comes back for like a true vet minimum kind of. I don't want to say I agree with you. It's more likely he's back than Inagbare, but I don't think it's as guaranteed because I don't I just think that they're gonna see other positions that they have to make moves at. The whole situation with what do they do with Trevon Diggs and all that kind of stuff. That's gonna, they're gonna need
Well, the
money
good thing
there, kind of
about
thing.
him
Yeah,
is everything that I read is his contract is 100% not guaranteed.
yeah. It's totally the 15 million is totally BS money at this point. But even they're gonna have to give him real money of some kind of, and the place I'd start is the thing that they were going to try and sign Jair to, the 4 million 8 million thing or whatever the hell it was and stuff.
It's going to depend on what he does because they took on the rest of his contract, which is another 3 years.
Right.
So he has all his guaranteed was paid by Jerry before releasing.
Right.
So if the Packers want to hang on to him for what his current costs are, they can do that. And they don't have to make a decision on him until whenever they want to make a decision because they don't have any hard deadlines on him.
Yep.
Like some contracts were, well, if you don't make this decision by this time, then this portion becomes fully guaranteed. Or if you don't make this decision by this time, then, so and so, blah, blah, blah. So they could wait until all the way up till
They got the whole preseason basically to
yeah.
figure it out. Yeah.
So, if they can fit his contract in to the salary cap this year, then you got to believe they can handle the money next year.
Yep.
Am I thinking on that right?
No, I think you're right. Like I said, I'm more just saying it is money you have to you're marking money there kind of thing. Like
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they
yeah.
could come back and say, okay, well, we're not going to do this number, but if you want to restructure or
Yeah.
re-sign a deal or whatever on that, but like I said, they can literally wait until the end of the preseason to see how he's
Yeah.
doing.
And like I said,
And
my reason I bring up Diggs because that's why I think that Cox and his tendering him as an RFA, I think that's so far down the list. Would I be surprised if they do it? Not at all. But at the same
But
time,
here
I'm
you
kind of
go.
like,
I'm
yeah,
I'm disagreeing with you on that because think about it. You're losing both him and Enigbare. Who knows what they're going to do with Rashawn? Are they keeping him? Are they getting rid of him? So that Mike is going to be out for a good portion of the year. I mean, maybe not into the season, but at least a good portion of all the
right,
workouts
yeah.
and preseason and that. I mean, to kind of go on a side note, I was really weirded by when he was showing his pictures of physical therapy, because when I went through my shit, I didn't even start physical therapy until like 2 weeks after the surgery.
I think that just it's one of those representations of like how different it is when this is your livelihood kind
Yeah.
of thing. It's like like when you're us regular Joe schmoes, it's like okay, it's a similar thing for like my Achilles surgery where it's like, you're in the boot, you
Well,
forget
that's what I
like
mean. They didn't even have him in a brace, and they had me in a sock to make sure that swelling didn't happen. One of them full lace
yeah,
socks, and I had to have my knee brace on 24/7.
yep. So
And he's not even in a brace; he's just using a friggin' TINS unit.
and I know that it's probably back on when he's not at rehab and stuff, but you're right. Like it is just it is night and day different how us regular Joe Blows are with our rehab, when you're just a high school athlete kind of thing. And then when you're a professional athlete who, like I said, that is your livelihood, it just is a stark difference. But yeah, we don't know what's going to happen to Rashawn. They're going to have to make a decision on Lucas's 5th-year option this
Yep.
year, this offseason. And like I said, that's why any and you talked about how the Vikings needed to give McCarthy snaps. I'm glad that they were like, okay, Colin, you're healthy, and Sorrell has gotten rotational, deep rotational snaps the whole season. But it was good for them to just be like, okay, you're the answer for the whole like game kind of thing. The three of you go do it, and credit to all three of them for making things happen. And like I said, I can poo poo like how real Cox's like production stats are and stuff, but he does deserve credit for converting his opportunity. Like it is it's the Kyler Fackrell, like he has like a shit pressure rate, but he converts sacks on like us. He's hitting dingers all the time when he does get contact kind of thing. He just
I
whiffs a lot.
guess I guess what I was just saying is I don't think it's a complete 100% guarantee he's not coming back.
Right. No,
Just
and I agree with you.
because of the uncertainty of what's going into the season, I do think he would be a little bit cheaper to keep than what an Enigbare would
Oh
be.
no, I definitely agree with you there, and we'll go further into this when the season's truly over, all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
But I will say Colin Oliver really was, and I hate saying this just because I know that's the nickname he's been given and all that, but he was looking like a baby Micah out there, just with some of, not necessarily in production wise, but you could see the jump. You
yeah,
could see
the way they can utilize him and the way he bends off the line of scrimmage and stuff, and that's the thing is like when you draft a guy like Oliver who isn't really a linebacker, isn't a true defensive end, you have to kind of just say like, okay, just it is the like it's like in Ready Player One when like H hands Chucky to Parzival, and it's just like just throw it. Like that's literally what
yeah.
you have to do with a guy like Oliver is like just huck him out the window and let him go do his thing. And when we were in the preseason, we were like talking about all the Parsons rumors. One of the jokes I made was Goot, and at the time it was because we assumed that the price for Micah would not be 2 firsts and a guy you were gonna cut next year kind of thing. We were assuming it was gonna be like 5 first-round picks, like how many of them are swaps and stuff. And
A
so
Ricky Williams style
right.
deal.
And that was when I made the joke that Goot would be like, "Okay, cool, thanks, but I have a Parsons at home kind of thing." And people were like, "They're not the same." I'm like, "That they're not the same." But the point is the cost is so prohibitive that any good GM is like, "Okay, like at what point do we draw the line?" But like you said, we're not trying to put him on the same pedestal, nowhere near it. But it is
He's
nice
not
that
on that tier yet, but
oh
he
yeah,
shows what he can, where he is similar to Micah. Where, like I said, the get off on from the snap, the pursuit afterwards, the disruption he can kind of have against the line, are similar to what Micah brings to the
yeah,
table.
it
So if he can learn from Micah, we could have two Micahs on the team.
right, exactly. And it allows Halfley to do some of the stuff he was doing all season with Micah. Like we said, Oliver's not going to be nearly as good, but you can do some of the same stuff. And then even going into next season, if Oliver's healthy, in that, I know Micah's saying that he's going to be ready week 1 and stuff, but the realistic thing is he's probably going to be back closer to the end of September. So in the medium, it's like, okay, how much havoc can you just say, call and just go screw things up for the opponent kind of thing. So
Right.
like you said, it's good to see that. But otherwise, anything else stand out to you as good from this game?
You know, I know people are going to kind of poo poo me on this a little bit, but it was nice to see some action out of the defensive line. Yeah, they still gave up, 94 yards to Mason and 23 yards to Chandler and that, but they weren't just completely getting pushed out of the play either. They were at least there was some pressures to it. And I'm glad to see Jonathan Ford back because I always liked how he had that quick first step off the line, and you could kind of see it with this punch. Was it 100% successful? No, but he doesn't have a Devontae Wyatt next to him to help out on certain things. So if they can maybe bring him back next year and see what he can do with a healthy Devontae, maybe that could be an interesting thing. But I thought Brinson looked good. Stackhouse was, so on that. Maybe he, you know, realized that I can't just get by being a big body. I'm going to have to actually put some effort into some things. Uh,
He's got to tackle better. That was going
yeah,
to be one of my bad things. Is like he has so many plays where he's like stops or tackle for loss or stop chances, and it's just like guy bounces right off him kind of thing. And I'm like, you can't be a fringe like specialty roster player kind of thing and like not be able to tackle. So it is one of those like, but
right. And like I said, I'm not saying that, oh my God, this is an amazing
yeah,
defensive
yeah,
line.
yeah.
It was just good to see better play out of them than, almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns for one person.
Yep.
But other than that, really, no. I don't think there's much else that I can. I because
Let's just flip it and go to the blah already. like I said, we don't need to drag out the review of this game. It doesn't deserve it.
I know a lot of people are going to throw Clayton Tune in there, and yes, he did not look good, but you got to understand the situation he's been
He was
thrown
handed
into.
he was handed a soggy, moldy ham sandwich of a game plan. They made it clear that they were trying to sim to end this game as much as possible. Like on one hand, it's a little discouraging when you see a guy and it's like, oh, like he can't process and but at the same time, it's like he had like 2.5 professional NFL wide receivers out there, and one of
And
them
he
got
was
hurt.
and he was getting pressured constantly.
Yeah, they were playing the D League O line. I thought Monk looked okay at center. That was the only bright spot. Everything else, I was like, ugh, like this is not.
Morgan looked like shit. He was getting blown up constantly. Uh, I didn't think Kennard was horrible. Uh, I don't know who was playing I think the only starter they had out there was Belton, wasn't it?
I think so.
Who was playing left guard then?
I forget already. Was it
I
Smith?
don't.
I think it was Lecitus Smith.
It could have been. Okay. Yeah, that was not fun. But I like I said, I can't put everything on Tune. I do have to say that I think it was Carlos said this on Twitter when I just kind of was skimming through that Tune has a way too long wind up to throw. So if he can maybe get that figured out, maybe it would have been a little bit of a better situation for him. But there you go. You don't know until, let's see what happens when he gets a full
Yeah,
offseason in. This wasn't like a Malik situation where they had to uh uh you know I'm trying to think of a word to say. They basically had to pump him full of information in 2 weeks to get him available to start last year. This
yeah.
wasn't that with Toon. Toon has been riding the practice squad bench for the majority of the season, and
He's a
all of a
throwing
sudden,
arm. He's a practice throwing arm. Like let's be honest about what he is.
can you imagine what the conversation was in the locker room when they say, "Hey, Toon, you're starting"?
Yeah, and the like the uproar, like, why does Jordan have a helmet, blah blah blah. I do think that's the
They
whole.
had to.
And like Malik couldn't play. You're not signing the other. You're not signing Ritter to the freaking the roster.
If
And
you
I
thought Toon was playing bad, put Ritter up there, who hasn't even been in the system for 2 days.
and it is the whole like, I do think there is some value to Love going through the mental reps. Like, he can be in on the play call sequencing and all that kind of stuff. And it goes back to 2011 when it was like Aaron called the game for Flynn and stuff like that. Or he would, I don't think he called it, but he was relaying the calls to Flynn or whatever. It's like
I
the
think they
whole.
said he made some of the calls. He didn't call
Yeah,
the
I don't
whole
think he called the
game,
whole
but
game, but yeah, I think it was more he relayed the whole game, and then it was like Aaron call a play here and there kind of thing and stuff. I do think there is value in that. Like, we'll see next week. I've seen some people take shots at LaFleur and all that kind of stuff. On one hand, it is sort of like, why not try and like wing it around kind of thing and stuff. Especially, like I said, the one would have been like, just pump 10 targets to Golden. But on the other side of this, like, we saw this old line try to play, it sucked. And the other side of it too is, it's like, he very so clearly, like I said, he had sim to end stamped on his forehead, and it was like, every time I run it 3 times into the line for nothing, that's 2 minutes off the clock. So, like, why am I going to do things that potentially take that away from me? And
even
this,
Golden was a little rough today. I don't know
he
if,
had 2 drops, like, and
yeah,
he hadn't dropped the pass all season, and like, dropped like a short one over the middle and like a sort of
and he
screen and stuff.
knows the quarterback. They played together at Houston.
Yep, that was. I know he was backing up like I know he was backing up. He was behind like Tank Dell and Sammy Brown, but you're right. He played with him, but you know, a lot of these the draft gurus are coming out of the woodworks to say like, and that's why you can't draft a guy as unproductive in college as Golden in the first round. That's a whole bunch of bullshit too. Like,
They just want to play the gotcha with the
yeah,
Packers because, oh, well, Goody can't pick first round players to save his life.
it's funny because the ones I'm seeing aren't even Packers people. The Packers people are more upset that like, why didn't he get to play more? Like his they're more upset about like at LaFleur on that side than like Goot for picking him. It's all the like your Marcus Mosier types, the like the a couple of the like Viking fan one, the Viking writer ones and stuff, and it's like I said, I put it on a couple different threads and tweet strings and stuff, and it's like, this isn't 2006 where you traded Javon Walker and you're walking into the season with Donald Driver, Robert Ferguson, and Greg Jennings. Like, it's like, Greg Jennings, who do you have to beat out for substantial snaps? Robert Ferguson. Oh, so you mean Greg Jennings is the starter?
You mean the
And
shell of Robert Ferguson?
yes,
Because wasn't that after he got his head taken off
that
by.
was that was when he said he got LASIK and he was going to be a better player because he can actually see now, kind of thing or whatever. And then this is
Yeah,
in
but wasn't
2020.
that after he got his head taken off by
Oh yeah,
Donovan Darius and it changed
yep,
his game completely?
yep. And then this isn't 2023 where you have your two vets are second year players in Dobbs and Watson, and they both get injured in the preseason. So it's like, oh, these rookies were going to have big roles, but now they have to have big roles, kind of thing. Like, and I see some people that say like, why didn't he get all the Reed snaps? Because they weren't grooming him to be Jaden Reed's role. He's supposed to play on the perimeter and stuff, and that answer's not going to satisfy everyone. I even have some like, okay, you should have rotated him in a little bit more, but also it gets into the whole, and people are blasting LaFleur and Stenovich for like, oh, you talk so glowingly about him, but why don't you play him? And I'm like, they're not gonna come out and say like he fucks up mentally every game, and that's why we're not good. you know. But I said you go to JT, you go to the QB school videos, and you go to Dusty, and Dusty is as positive and ho hum as they come, and Dusty every week is like, Matthew Golden fucked up this play. Matthew Golden ran the wrong route on a couple more plays. Yeah, you get, and like you whether he's on Packaday, whether he's on Cheesehead TV, whether he's on whatever, he's always like tempering because he's like you see the plays that he makes, and everyone's like, oh my god, he needs to catch the ball more, he needs to be more involved, and he's like, and then you see him run the wrong way after he catches a screen pass. He's you know running the wrong route on the throw to open the Dallas game and stuff. You've got so many plays, the Cincinnati game where he makes the 3 plays that help win that game. There's other plays in there where it's like you can tell Jordan's like, where the fuck did he go? and stuff. So like, and I'm not worried. Those are all things that come when you're like, here's this playbook that's the size of 2 Bibles, and learn it. like,
And to kind of play devil's advocate on that, though, when you're only getting limited playing time, you don't have the opportunity to learn from your mistake.
right, yeah. And I think the other side of it is, like I said, I do have some complaints on that side, because it's not like, how do I word this? It's not like
LaFleur's a jackass.
it's not like anyone Watson, Reed, or Kraft are game breakingly great. Like, I'm one of the biggest Romeo Dobbs defenders on here. And like, the Dallas game was cool. Like, he had some big catches early on and stuff. And I know he had a couple highlight plays against the Ravens, but it's like, we know what Romeo is. He's like a 2 or 3. Golden ceiling is way higher. Like,
It is.
yeah. And so I agree with you. It's sort of similar to the like, should 38-year-old Donald Driver really have been playing over rookie Randall Cobb in 2012 kind of thing. It's in that realm of like, are we being negligent, or are we serving a greater purpose? And you know, those are things to be seen. And I'm hoping that the discussion we're having is like, fuck, look how good Golden is. He should have but I just hope that we're having those conversations next year. But not gonna beat that dead horse. Like I said, this circles back to, how mad do you want to be at LaFleur for this game? I'm not even gonna waste the energy on that this week. Like, he told us what the game plan was going to be. If he could petition for a running clock, he would have. And then on the Halfley side of it, he had forget like a crooked deck. He had an incomplete deck that was like, half of it was standard poker cards, half of it was Uno, and like, interspersed in there, he had some Magic the Gathering cards too that don't even help. Like, yeah, I can't, like, on the coaching side, it's like, what it is the like, we told you what we're gonna do. What do you really want us to do side of it? So
The only other one that I want to talk about real quick is, I don't think Jacoby Keeney James is the answer by any means. He didn't look comfortable receiving punts. He bobbled a couple times, and he didn't look like. I mean, to be honest, it could have been his coverage, but he just didn't look like he could read lanes very well either. So I don't know. That's just me. Somebody else could have completely different opinion on it, but I didn't think he was that great out there in his limited time.
I want to see him in the offense in the offseason. Like I said, I think
Oh, I'm not even
he's
talking about the offense. I'm just
yeah.
talking special teams because that's what he was basically brought up to be, was more the special teams type guy to fill in for Savion.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm well, and also that's the Bisaccia side of it. So I don't even know. I like again, I'm not even wasting energy on that discussion. But
And I want to yell at
otherwise,
Tyron Hopper. How the hell do you let yourself get friggin' stiff armed? I mean, that was sick. I You need to hang your head in shame. I've been pushing for you all year, and you give me that.
I think like there's so many people who are so like, oh, Quay's done, blah blah blah, Hopper's ready. I'm like, no, he's not. The fact, like, I keep going back to the fact that they put Christian Welch in the Detroit game over Hopper says all you need to know about where Hopper legitimately stands on this team. Like,
The only concern right now is currently, did Quay price himself out of Green Bay?
you know, it's one of those where I'm kind of like looking at it, and I kind of just shake my head where I'm like, if they're trying to say we're gonna pay you less than what the 5th year option would have been, I'm like, okay, Goot and Ball, like you got to get over your stupid asses on that kind of thing, because it's like, why wouldn't he start negotiating there? And if you're like going way below, like, yeah,
Now, if that was where they started out at the beginning of the season, I could see them trying to give him less than the 5th year option at the beginning of the season because he only had a so year last
right, yeah.
and whatever. But now, like I said, has he priced himself out of Green Bay? Because he's going to definitely get more than what the 5th year option was going to pay him with the way he played alongside Edge this year.
Not if you ask half this fan base, but whatever. Like,
Well, yeah, never
yeah,
mind. We won't go into that too much.
yeah,
Other than that, I thought Trayvon in his little limited time was decent. It was nice to see a corner actually tackle, and in his limited snaps, he had 2 throws near him, and one was incomplete, and the other one went short. So, I got to give it to him. I'm all for keeping him going
yeah.
into next season,
You know,
and
I know that a lot of people are saying things to like back up their takes on how he was an overrated corner and all that kind of stuff. That's fine, and I agree. Like, he can't. It's the same thing we were talking about like this past off season, where it's like Nate Hobbs can't be the only thing you do. Gambling on Trevon Diggs finding himself is not the only is can't be the only thing the Packers do. But why not keep that lottery ticket in your back pocket? Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
but here's the thing. If you told me at the beginning of the season that the 2 moves that they were going to make at the beginning of the season was Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Diggs, I'd probably have been happy about it.
Yeah.
Not because Trayvon's this out of this world amazing guy, but that means there's 2 more bodies in that group.
Right. And that was the thing, is we were like, it can't be just Hobbs. You had to do something else with that corner room. And you didn't draft anyone, and you didn't sign
Well, they
another
did,
guy.
but not like
Yeah, nothing, not one that mattered. Like, not
did
in a
he
round where a player would matter kind of thing.
right. But I mean, yeah, in a limited time, I'm hoping that when we're playing the majority of our starters in the first playoff game, that I say majority because obviously Mike is not going to be back in time for the friggin' playoff game and stuff like that. But I feel at this moment, I say I could feel comfortable having Diggs and Nixon out there with Carrington in the background.
Yep, I agree with you. Like, why not? Like, just swings at the pinata at this point.
I mean, we can start talking about the playoff game. There's not much to talk about because Bears obviously again, and
They have the formula. That's the thing, is like they know exactly what they need to do to beat them. First off, don't get concussed, Jordan. Like, they were basically every drive that the the Packers have played with Jordan on the field, they have moved the ball substantially on Chicago. Like, I know there was the 3-and-out coming out of halftime in the first game and all that kind of stuff, but by and large, when Jordan's been on the field for the Packers, they have they have boat raced this Chicago defense up and down the field. So don't let Jordan, don't like, if Austin Booker gets a clean shot, someone take his knee. I'm not even joking. Just take his fucking knees out. At this
If
point,
he wants to play dirty, then
it's eye for an eye. And if future Hall of Fame players don't want to accept that what he's doing is dirty, that's shame on you. And like, don't like why I don't understand why former players take the side of like needing to defend stupid and like it's dangerous play for both players. Like that, like
Well, that's how we did it in our day, so everybody should have to do it.
right. And like you said, the fact that Howie Long was like, that was fucking dirty. Like for Howie Long to stand up or to sit there on national TV and be like, that was fucking dirty. And like he was, like you said, Howie was living. Like he wasn't just like, oh,
And
that,
it
I
wasn't
think
even
that was
just that play. He was talking about the whole rest of the friggin' first half.
Yeah, I appreciated that Howie wasn't just like, oh yeah, I think it was dirty. He was like, that is unacceptable. Like Howie was pulling out the thesaurus and the dictionary for all the big words on why you can't allow players to play like that anymore. But I'm serious. Like,
And Strahan, if you do happen to see this, I would say this to your face, so you can friggin' bite me on that. I've said a lot worse to people.
He's too busy. He's too busy complaining about how. He's too busy complaining about how what's his say Myles Garrett had an extra game to break his record.
Well, I also, this was a shot at him when he was still playing, when he told, it's a very famous clip where he was getting into it with a journalist, and, well, if you're going to come at me, you might as well look me in my eyes and say it. And that's the truth. I would have no problems telling you to your face that you're wrong and those were dirty hits.
Yep. So like, just keep Jordan clean, and you'll win this game. I don't want to say by a lot because I don't have much confidence in this defense stopping a nosebleed at this point. But
I don't know. We're gonna have it's gonna come down to, like I've talked to before throughout the rest of the season, the inactives list. You saw what Baron Sorrell could do. He can't be inactive this game.
yeah,
What was the other one?
I think Oliver's got to play. I think you
He's
need
gotta
that
play.
athleticism out there. You know,
especially to chase down Williams.
Yep.
That's what was hurting us when Micah was out.
Yep. So it'll be like I
tackle.
agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. It'll be really interesting to see what they do. Fucking Keyshawn, that's 2 games where you fucked us because you like stopped playing on a play kind of thing.
I'm wondering if Trayvon even shows like half of what we hope for him, if that may put a fire under Keyshawn, because Keyshawn's only got what, a year or 2 left on his contract.
One more year. One more year.
So this is going to say, Keyshawn, if you really think that you're a number 1 corner, you better show it, or you better hope somebody else believes in you. And so, yeah. But yeah, definitely just tackle better. Make sure, I don't know. I'm not overly concerned with their run game, because I think the Packers have been able to hold their run.
Their best. I've said it all season. Even when like they were playing the run well, you know, the counting stats versus the analytics or advanced stats, you know, that whole thing. But like the best run defense, and this is where it gets into the whole LaFleur thing. You're not gonna do it because it's the playoffs. You should do it in this game. Your goal should be to score 30 plus every game. Like, you know, I know you have the joke that he coaches like he only has 600 points a season. Westendorf
well, now you
and
got
I
points to spare.
yeah, I know, right? Westendorf and I, you know, Westendorf completely agrees with your assessment. And the thing that we keep going back and forth on is like the killer instinct. He just doesn't have it, or he has never shown to truly have it. And, you know, the thing that I'll keep going back to is, you know, and I've seen all the people who say like it would be stupid for the Packers not to keep him next year, all that kind of stuff. That Robert Sala comment from 3 years ago gets truer and truer and truer every game you watch this team play. You take them out to deep water and you know that they're gonna drown. Even the games they win, 2/3 of them are like the most butt clenching, excruciating, ulcer inducing games possible.
Boy, do
And
you
it's
get
like,
away with words.
hey, I'm an engineer, but it's like it is the whole.
Uh,
We said it all off season and during the season. Three of the four head coaches in the division will go out there wanting to, with the mindset on some level that like part of their 5-step plan to victory is we're going to embarrass the opponent. And Matt's the only one that it's like we're going to win our way, which is we're going to just get a lead and we're going to bleed the clock out kind of. And people can say like I'm being facetious. When has he shown otherwise? Like the opportunity, and people are like, oh, but he's never lost to McVay. Even those games have all been like one score games late, and then we score a touchdown to go up double digits, kind of thing. Like,
maybe the Dallas playoff game a couple years ago.
right,
It
and even that wasn't all like. I know this is gonna sound, but like that's with Dak throwing 2 interceptions in the first half, kind of thing. Like there were things in there that are not under LaFleur's control, kind of thing. Like you're up you're up 20 to nothing after the and that's the thing is you get the play before the Darnell Savage interception return. You're up 20 to nothing, and 7 of those points are off of a pick that you get the ball on like the 5-yard line or something like that. And it's like you're dominating, but are you really dumb? Like that kind of thing where it's like if Dallas goes down and scores, it's a 2-score game and they get the ball first and all that kind of crap. And it's like, okay, like how in control of a game are you truly in control of it with LaFleur as your head coach kind of thing? Because the way that he tries to nibble at the margins, it's like you leave yourself where one fuck up and it's like, oh, you're losing now. Like, and that's the thing is like he coaches like an old school NL bunt and move them over team, and like we're not going to go for strikeouts, we're going to pitch to contact and we're going to bunt guys over. And it's like you don't have Greg Maddux anymore, who was a strikeout pitcher first. Like yeah,
I'm a Braves fan.
yeah, like let's be real, like you don't have Glavin, Maddux, and Smoltz in your arsenal. You got maybe one of them at this point. And then on offense it's like don't your run game is too shit this season to control a game that way. So like I'm not in the other extreme where it's like running any run by this team is a wasted down. But like don't run on back-to-back plays unless like the first one was a 30-yard run. Like don't
Right. I
yeah,
mean, you can't say not to do it if you're having success at it.
right.
But success means more than, a yard or two gain.
Yeah. Like if you get 1 yard, like I don't care that it was blocked perfectly. Like it obviously wasn't. So like
Do you think that with that statement that you brought up about Salah, and I completely forgot that one, but do you think that's why he tries to keep Bisaccia around, is because Bisaccia is his quote unquote strong arm? And mm,
I I think I don't know. I think that's more to the like he doesn't want to be the guy who can't keep a coordinator kind of thing. But I wouldn't doubt it. Like I to me,
but
I
see,
never
it's
made
more
that
than just the coordinator, because remember, he's also the assistant head
right.
coach.
Yeah,
So it makes me wonder if that's, his strong arm. And that's another reason why I say he needs to be gone.
yeah. Like
Now, that one I might not say to Bisaccia's face, because Bisaccia might eat me, but I just.
uh, like, and I don't even go to this extreme necessarily. But like the people that are like policy should at worst, he doesn't have to be the one to fire LaFleur, but at least get rid of the 3-headed like power system kind of thing, and like at least make it where the GM truly has like I'm here to hire or fire you kind of thing. And now And then it's like, okay, Gutekunst, like whoever you pick, you are truly tied to that guy, kind of thing and stuff. But like,
Ow.
it does make you want like, and like I said, no system is perfect, but it does make you wonder how often each side sits there looking at the other guy and is like, the fuck are you like the fuck are you doing over there, kind of thing. And like, I do like, we'll never know, but I do wonder if Goody kind of looks at him and is like, I told you we're not bringing Romeo back next year. Like, if you need me to talk to Jordan about finding a new binky, I'll talk to him about it. Like, you know.
I
And
think the whole thing with the triangle, I think that was way overblown.
yeah, I do too, mostly, but it is one
Um,
of those where it's kind of like, I do wonder if the like, how come this guy is getting used a certain way, kind of thing. And it's like, like I
I
said,
think it was more just because of Rogers, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to attack
right.
this as a three-headed
Yeah.
monster
Yeah, I agree with
because
you
what
there.
the hell is he doing? And then they just, controlled the rest of the team the same way. But I've been thinking after you said that maybe Bisaccia is like supposed to be his Dan Campbell rah
I can see that.
whatever, and it's not working. So we need to find a different rah guy in there because obviously either Bisaccia, I mean, he's always been a player's coach because you ask anybody who's played for him and they'll tell you they loved him. But
It's the
it,
bad kind of players coach,
right.
undisciplined, doesn't look like there's a plan, all that kind of stuff. I agree with you. Like, yeah, shit, I'd love to play for, I'd love a boss that lets me do whatever and never have any, I'd never have to face the consequences of my actions, kind of thing. So, yeah.
And this is what I would do. And I don't know if this is how they do it or not. But whenever the final game is, whether, they make a run to the Super Bowl, they lose this one, whatever the scenario is, when they do their end of season performance reviews, that's where you need to have your three-headed monster sit, especially with Gutekunst and LaFleur's ass on the line, because they have not had their extensions done as we know of yet. So that's where policy, Goody, and LaFleur need to sit in there and have legit performance reviews on the staff.
Yeah. Honestly, I would appreciate it if Groot and Policy kind of strong arm and say, like, you're not gonna be back if you don't fire this guy.
Right, but what I mean is if they do it that way, then LaFleur legit has to do a performance review. It can't just be one of those things like
right, I agree. Yeah,
they sit in there and have a conversation. Oh yeah, you did great. We'll see you next year. It's going to be
yeah.
one of those things. Oh shit, my bosses are watching. I have to legit do a performance review and have to tell this guy he's an asshole and he can't.
But otherwise, like you said, I don't have too much to say about this Bears game because we've seen it play out twice. They should have won both the games.
Do we know what the weather's looking like this far out for Chicago?
Shit. Let's see. Da-da-da. And that's the thing is like that game before Christmas, the weather wasn't good. Like that,
The wind was terrible, so
right? And
that made things rough.
Jordan was still cutting the ball through the air, and Malik was too. So, like,
Cloudy and breezy with snow showers mainly later. 39 degrees for a high. That
yeah.
night,
So
27 degrees, mostly cloudy and breezy with a flurry early, then an hour or two of snow. So this could be a whiteout game. I mean, this is way too early. We're recording this Sunday night. They don't play until Saturday, so it could completely change. But
also, I'm
yeah,
kind of glad they're playing on Saturday. Just get it over with. And if you happen to win, you're not like getting the short-changed short week thing where if you played on Sunday or God forbid the Monday night game and it's like, oh, now you're playing on Saturday kind of thing and stuff. So yeah,
the only thing I got to say about it is it's a Prime Amazon Prime game, and even though I have Prime, I think that's shitty that they
oh
are
yeah,
doing that.
I know they have the deal, but yeah, their broadcast their signal is crap. Like the way
Well,
that
it's not just that. I just don't think that you should make people sign up for Prime just to
yeah.
have to watch a game. I mean, obviously, I have Prime because I use it for more than just watching videos on. I order half the shit I ever get off Amazon, so it just whatever. But yeah,
Yep. All right, but I think we can put a bow on this one. No real surprises. Like you said, no one gave a shit this week, so nothing weird happened with who Green Bay was going to end up playing this week. So
I
I
think
think
we
we'll
all
just
figured it was going to be Chicago no matter what. I know
yeah,
they said it was either going to be Chicago or Philly, but I'm pretty sure it was always going to be Chicago one way or the other.
yep.
I'd rather
But
have it as the conference championship game so the prophecy can still be in place, but
whatever. I'm tired of talking about that crap too. So let's just get it
I
over
know,
with.
but it's all fitting in perfectly, Mike. Buy into it. It's fitting perfectly.
I'm too nihilistic for that crap already. But if you do want more nihilistic takes on football, check out the website ohanapackers.org. Um, you know, based on how this team has looked, unless a lightning bolt goes up their collective asses and gets them playing at a different level, we're probably going to be doing our end of season review and all that kind of stuff, and I'll be posting more articles about that. Please support the shop, get the merch, support us through there, so that hopefully at some point Joe and I can meet in real life. That'll be
Preferably
fun.
in Green Bay also.
Yeah, that would be nice. Please check us out on your favorite social medias at Ohana
Oh, don't
underscore.
forget the
Oh,
giveaway.
yeah. I was gonna get there when I got to Facebook. Ohana underscore Packer at Ohana underscore Packers on Twitter, at Ohana Packers Edition on Instagram. As Joe excellently pointed out, please follow us on Facebook. Only Facebook followers will be eligible for our drawings. All the
We'll have
these
drawing some other time for
yeah.
the rest of it, but we want to grow our Facebook count.
Yep. So get us there, please. So yeah, we need to get to 100 followers on Facebook so we can live stream there when we do post games and stuff.
Or else the doggy gets it.
The treats, nothing else. Don't come for us, PETA.
Hey,
We're not
if
like
you want to
that.
go on a tangent, I have a thing against PETA anyway.
I know. I only make that joke because that joke is there. But
I know,
agree.
but they blew up my grandpa's place of business years ago.
God.
So I have a very much hatred for.
Oh God. Yeah,
I love animals.
They're
hate
corrupt
that
too.
organization.
They're corrupt. They're absolutely they're a ball sack of lies. Check us out on your favorite podcasting apps. Give us a like and a subscribe for all of our football takes, non-football takes, like our thoughts on PETA and other
say,
things.
if you want us to do separate episodes just on some weird ass takes, let us know. And
Oh,
maybe
especially with the off season coming up. We did our 5 highs and all that kind of stuff the couple years ago. We did we promoted travel websites and stuff this past off season. Yeah, like Joe said, give us ideas. If you want us to just talk about Star Wars for a whole hour and a half, we'll do that too. But
shit, I could do it for 3 days. Come on now.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to be modest.
Me and Michael have a marathon. We'll do a 24-hour stream on nothing but Star Wars if
watch the whole series with us. But for Iowa Joe, I'm Mike. Catch us for our recap of the playoff game.
God, I got tired just thinking about a 24-hour stream.
Too old for that shit.
I am getting too old for that shit.
Go Pack Go and aloha.
Packers fans out here to stay. Cheeseheads green and gold all day. Jordan Love lead us to the bay. Every game we find a way. Green Bay hustle, grind it up. Hit the field, we don't bluff. Touchdown dances, feel the love. Jordan's got that MVP stuff. It's time for all, let's go. Packers bringing that show. It's time for all, green and gold gonna glow. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown.